Okay, let's dive into this. We've got some translated text here. Looks like snippets.
Yeah, from something called the Van Bun Duc Dan. It's got Japanese and Vietnamese text mixed together.
Right, and it seems to capture a really intense shift in things. Pretty dramatic stuff.
Definitely. What really grabs you first is how sudden it all feels.
Yeah, it's not like a slow burn. The language suggests something just, bam, happened.
Exactly. Swift, alarming, something new descending.
And the core seems to be this. What does it say? Unprecedented strange presence.
That's the phrase. And it comes with an overwhelming sense of doom hitting Egghead.
Wow. I mean, Egghead's already chaotic, right?
Yeah.
So for something to feel that overwhelming.
Yeah, that tells you it's something different, something, game-changing maybe.
It must be a real shift in the whole feel of the place.
And get this, the battlefield itself is described as having ultimate destructive power.
So just picture that. Utter chaos, destruction everywhere.
And then, right in the middle of all that fighting, a magic circle just appears.
A magic circle? Seriously? Like actual magic or...
Well, that's the big question, isn't it? Is it supernatural or maybe, I don't know, super advanced tech?
Tech that just looks like magic.
Could be. The source uses that term magic circle, which adds this layer of, well, strangeness.
Definitely ups the weird factor. Okay, so destruction, this weird circle, then what?
Then it gets even stranger.
Yeah.
A deadlock of silence and weakness falls over everything.
Silence. After all that destruction.
Yeah. Like the whole world just stops, holds its breath. It sounds incredibly tense.
Kind of creepy, actually. That calm before the storm feeling.
Precisely. You just know something else is coming. A pause, maybe everyone's just
Stunned.
Yeah.
Stunned by the circle. Or maybe what comes next.
could be both. Because right after that pause, guess who shows up?
Uh-oh. Let me guess. Someone important.
Very. One of the 5 elders. The Ange Lantin, as the text calls them.
No way. One of the Gorosei. Actually on Egghead.
Right there. Appearing before the Straw Hat crew.
In front of Luffy and the crew? That's huge. These guys almost never leave Maruhoa, right?
Exactly. They're the top figures, usually pulling strings from way behind the scenes.
So, for one to show up personally, that means things have escalated, like way off the charts.
It suggests the situation on Egghead is critical, demanding their direct attention. No more messing around.
A direct confrontation. Wow. And do we know which one?
Well, the title for whatever comes next gives us a pretty massive clue.
Oh, yeah. What is it?
Get ready for this. Nightmare descends, science defense god, Saint Saturn.
Saint Saturn. So that's the elder. But science defense god? What on earth is that?
Isn't that something? Tun Huk, Kaw Hawk, and Quoc Phong, Pan Saturn in the Vietnamese text.
Science and God together. That's
Yeah.
quite a title. It sounds terrifying, frankly.
It really does. It makes you wonder, what is he? Is his power based on science, technology?
Or is it like tech so advanced it seems divine? Like Arthur C. Clarke's stuff.
Could be. Or maybe he embodies both, Scientific authority and this godlike presence. The combination is unsettling.
Totally. So just to recap quickly for everyone, Egghead's already a mess. Then this weird doom-laden presence arrives.
A mysterious magic circle pops up out of nowhere,
Then this eerie silence, this pause.
and boom. Enter one of the 5 elders, Saint Saturn, face to face with the Straw Hats.
Oh, with that absolutely chilling title, Science Defense God.
Yeah, that title just sticks with you. What kind of enemy is that?
Seriously. Is he like a cyborg? Or does he command some ultimate scientific weapon? Is God literal or metaphorical?
So many questions. It really throws everything we thought we knew into chaos. This blend of science and something divine almost.
Exactly. How do you even fight a science defense god? It just leaves you thinking, what kind of nightmare is this really? And how can the Straw Hats possibly stand against a power that mixes tech and, well, godhood? What does that even look like in a fight?
Okay, so you are definitely locked in for a wild one today.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, One Piece, episode 1127, just really blew up.
Right, the big rematch.
Exactly. Luffy versus Kizaru. Forget about it. People are saying it was like this full spectrum, totally explosive clash.
And the animation quality. Wow.
Cinematic levels. That's what you, the listeners, have been telling us.
Absolutely. That visual feast has been, well, the talk of the community, hasn't it?
For sure. And the stakes on Egghead never fell higher.
Definitely not.
So for this deep dive, you sent over just a mountain of stuff reaction vids, that title and preview for 1128, your descriptions.
Right, a lot to sift through.
Yeah, and we've pulled all that together to really get the core story, what happened right at the end of 1127, and that like really creepy feeling from the 1128 preview.
So this is kind of your quick download on these huge moments.
Exactly. Your hyper-efficient guide.
And our goal here is just to pinpoint the biggest takeaways, you know, give you that clear picture without getting totally lost in every little detail.
Couldn't have said it better. Today, it's laser focus. The peak of Luffy versus Kizaru in 1127. And that chilling arrival. Saint Saturn, right at the end. Looking like big trouble for 1128.
Yeah, that arrival changes things. So we're aiming for a structured look at these events, hitting the most impactful and honestly the most intriguing stuff from everything you shared.
Okay, let's dive right into it. Luffy versus Kizaru, round 2 and episode 1127. Man, 16 years since Zabedi.
Talk about a long time coming.
Right.
Yeah.
And what a difference 16 years makes.
You're spot on. This rematch just perfectly shows Luffy's insane growth. We're seeing Gear 5 just unleashed.
Okay.
It's described as, you know, unpredictable, crazy, powerful, almost like a cartoon. It really feels like it's bending reality itself.
Totally agree. We saw Luffy just swinging Kizaru around, didn't he?
Like a rag doll.
Yeah. And launching him towards the sea. Some of the reactions were just pure gold watching that.
Someone said Kizaru got an unexpected aerial tour, I think.
Probably did. But what's really striking is how the power dynamic feels shifted, you know?
Kizaru's got light speed, which is, well, insane.
Right.
But physically, in these clashes, Luffy seems to be overpowering him sometimes. You can almost see the surprise on Kizaru's face. Maybe even a bit of frustration.
Yeah, I saw that too. And Kizaru tries his usual tricks like those light clones.
Trying to confuse him, yeah.
But Luffy, with that upgraded Heizagi and just the pure chaos of Gear 5, he wasn't really falling for it, was he?
No, it seemed like he was swatting them away. He took a cut at one point, sure.
Right, he got tagged.
But then instantly fired back. White whip, white stamp. Those clones didn't last long.
That Heizagi makes such a difference.
Oh, absolutely. You need it to even touch someone like Kizaru being Logia, made of light. Luffy's mastery is just clearly way beyond what it was.
Then there was that moment just jaw-dropping, where Kizaru actually grabs Luffy by the neck.
Yeah, had him in a real bind for a second.
But then, and this is where things get really weird, Luffy eats the light attack.
I know, what even is that?
And then light just bursts out of him. People watching are just like completely floored.
It's the perfect example of how Gear 5 just doesn't play by the normal rules.
Yeah.
It's almost, yeah, whimsical's a good word. Imaginative fighting.
The general feeling from the reactions, overwhelmingly, was that Gear 5 Luffy is just stronger right now.
Yeah, seems that way.
His ability to counter light speed with like pure unpredictability and that boosted Haki, plus using the environment, it seems to be the key.
One reaction just flat out said, Gear 5 Luffy is just too OP.
Well, maybe.
But if you think bigger picture, right? An Emperor matching or even surpassing an Admiral like this, it feels like a fundamental shift.
Yeah, the whole world's power balance, it really redefines things.
Definitely.
And the visuals, man, everyone was raving.
Non-stop praise.
Words like peak, gorgeous, insane, movie quality, just everywhere in the reactions. Sounds like Toei Animation really pulled out all the stops.
It seems like the animators just had a field day with the creative freedom Gear 5 gives them. It looked breathtaking from what people were saying.
We also saw Kizaru looking pretty tired, right?
Visibly exhausted, yeah. While Luffy was still blocking him, maybe a stamina difference showing up too.
Could be. But then, bam, everything just takes a sharp left turn.
Right when you think the fight's reaching its climax.
Yeah, the Straw Hats, Vegapunk, they all feel this really strange, unfamiliar presence.
And the pacifistas just stop dead in their tracks.
Super creepy.
That sudden halt, that interruption, it signals something huge is shifting. The focus snaps away from the fight to something bigger and probably way more dangerous.
And then there he is, Saint Saturn, materializing in this like monstrous form.
Yeah, not just appearing, transformed.
It just instantly creates this feeling of dread, you know? This wasn't subtle.
The descriptions you guys sent mentioned an unprecedented, bizarre presence, a suffocating, deathly atmosphere just washing over Egghead. This is clearly not your average bad guy showing up.
And what was really interesting, someone watching pointed out, it looked like Luffy's Gear 5 might be hitting its limit right then.
Ah, okay, so the timing is crucial.
Exactly. Because then we see Luffy winding up for that massive attack, the one he used on Kaido, right? Aimed straight at Kizaru.
The Bajrang gun, presumably? Yeah, that raises big questions about Gear 5's cost. It's incredibly powerful, obviously, but it looks like it takes a massive toll.
A serious drain on his stamina, maybe more.
Said slickly.
And then the absolute gut punch ending of the episode. Luffy seems to collapse back to his normal form.
While Kizaru is still standing.
Yeah, what a cliffhanger. Leaves you just reeling.
Yeah, it throws everything into question again. Gear 5 looked dominant, but the fight ends, or pauses at least, with Luffy down and this thing arriving.
Which brings us right to Saint Saturn's arrival. That was no quiet entrance.
Not even close. People described a magical circle just appearing out of nowhere in the middle of the chaos.
Yeah, I saw that mentioned.
And then that 5-pointed star symbol, unmistakable, that's a Gorosei.
One of the 5 elders. The absolute top of the world government, basically. Well, under Im-sama.
Their direct involvement like this on the battlefield, pretty much unprecedented. Huge deal.
And it's specifically Saturn revealing himself right there in front of the Straw Hats. No hiding.
Nope, front and center. And that, to be continued screen, just focusing on Saturn's eye.
Chilling.
It's a perfect way to build suspense. That quiet moment before the storm everyone knows is coming.
And we even got the title for 1128, Nightmare Strikes Godhead of Science and Defense, Saint Saturn.
Yeah, that title alone tells you it's not going to be pretty. Nightmare Strikes.
The reactions you shared were just brimming with anticipation, but also like real fear.
Understandably so. The Gorosei have always been these shadowy figures pulling strings. Seeing one step out, especially in that form, it usually means absolute disaster is about to happen.
So, okay, let's try and wrap our heads around this. We had this incredible, visually stunning fight. Luffy versus Kizaru.
Gear 5 looking amazing, maybe even winning.
Right. Seemed like Luffy had the edge with that crazy power. But then the whole board gets flipped.
Completely, with Saturn's shocking arrival, super ominous, leaving Luffy totally drained. And this terrifying new threat just descending on Egghead.
It's definitely a massive escalation for the Egghead arc, no question.
Power dynamics totally upended. The animation was, by all accounts, incredible.
Phenomenal, yeah.
And just the sheer weight of a Gorosei finally showing up in person. You really can't overstate that.
Exactly. So hopefully you feel like you've got a really solid handle on these key moments now without having to spend hours digging through everything online.
Yeah, that's the goal. So here's the big question we're all going to be wrestling with now. With Saint Saturn right there on the scene looking like that, and Luffy seemingly out of commission after pushing Gear 5 so hard, what kind of nightmare is really waiting for the Straw Hats next time?
Yeah.
How on earth are they supposed to deal with a direct fight against one of the 5 elders? Especially in whatever that awakened form is. It feels like the danger level just went off the charts.
That is the crucial question now, isn't it? Saturn's arrival just changes everything we thought we knew about what was happening on Egghead. Totally recontextualizes it. All right, that's our deep dive for today. Hope you're feeling a lot more clued in.
Yeah, hopefully that helps make sense of the chaos.
Stick with us for our next exploration. We'll keep trying to unravel these mysteries together.
If you enjoy this video, please like, share, subscribe and hit the bell to the latest update from my channel. Thank you for watching till the end and see you in the next video.